Hello, my crafty friends. It's Michelle, the Southern Shell, and it's time for Roll and Create, brought to us by Tasha with Sunflower Tasha. Links to her channel, as well as the playlist, will be in my description box below. Let's jump right on in and get this party started. Let's get rolling. We're going to roll our first dice, and that's going to tell us what our background is. I'm going to roll it, and we got a watercolor wash. Our second dice is going to be the main focus, which is a character. The third dice I'm rolling now, and that is ephemera or stickers. And the fourth dice was the challenge, which is finger paint.
So the first one is your background, and I rolled watercolor wash. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to start with just a little bit of a dividing horizon. And I've got some of my red here. And I'm just going to put some water in that color. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to just create just a red horizon. I want that line to divide up where I want to go.
I'm just going to come in with some colors here. I'm creating a horizon about 2/3 up my pages. I'm coming in with some rose colored watercolor, and I'm just going to go back and forth with some different colors on here, and then I will come in and blend them a little bit better as the watercolor dries, and I'm going to try to dry a little in between each one. Drying between each one will eliminate some of the muddiness of your colors if they are not colors that would necessarily blend well together. You will get a muddy look. So if you dry them between, you'll get a better layering effect instead of a muddy mess. colors are dry, I'm going to come in with this metallic watercolor, and I am going to lay metallic all over. Now this is a pearlescent white one, and I am just going to lay this down, and this is going to soften all the edges of the watercolor, and it's going to give me a little bit of a muted look to these colors. On the second page, I'm coming in with the silver, and I'm going to give a silver look, and it basically is going to give me a lighter page on one side and a darker page on the other, muting those colors of the original page that I created.
So I went ahead and created some ephemera, and since my main element was the character, so I created a bunch of little fairies to go with this very fantasy background, and I have a little tree stump, and I'm going to use my tea dye Distressed Oxide, and I'm going to go ahead and come in and kind of hit the edges of my little characters and my other little pieces of ephemera that I created. And I just want to come in and hit some of those little feet and so forth, and around the wings, and just to give it a little something, not too dark, but to soften the white edge around where I fussy cut. So I've got all my little ephemera pieces inked, and I've got them sort of laid out where I want them to be. And I'm going to start to layer and build dimension on these. So I have different pieces of card and paper that I will use to help lift where I need lift. But I'm just going to start by laying down the ones more in the background, which will be the house. I'm going to lay that more down to the back side. And then I'm going to lay the mushroom down, but I think I want that to be a little darker. And that'll give some more dimension. they had some areas I did not want to try to fussy cut out. So I do have some of my alcohol markers here, and I'm going to use a pale pink blend. Let me see here. That one's going to kind of go there. That's going to be more of a, maybe, there's my 3 colors of purple there. And then this one is going to be more of the green teal. And I think that, here we go, here's a kind of the green turquoise blend. Now these are the Spectrum Noir, and they are the 3 colors. So you've got your mid and your light and your dark all in one. So for this particular one, that's where she's going to be kind of hanging out. So let's check our colors here. Obviously that's too dark. Here's our mid. That's not bad at all compared to that. That looks pretty good. Let's see what our light looks like. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with the light. And we are just going to color in around that flower and our little fairy. And what I will do is I will come in with a little bit of that mid-tone now and just kind of dot around those edges. And that will help blend in that color just a little bit there. And then I will come back with my light again. These are alcohol markers. This will help blend these together. And I think that looks pretty dang good. And we're going to glue her together and right on down. So I've got pieces there, and then in between the other accordion piece there, and that little piece will go right on her. And give her a little press. Perfect. And let's go ahead and do our little lady here. We're just going to come in and dab the lavender very carefully. She's got that lavender sky going on behind her. Come in with just a tad of our medium, just like we did on our little lady down here, and we're just going to come right back in with our light. And she will lay right on up in there. I will get the rest of these ladies down, and I will be back. Now I have some more ephemera and stickers here, and I'm going to use some words on here. I have unique, shine, and create. And these are cardboard stickers. I'm just going to pull those off, because I'm going to need to put some more glue on the back. This one says she has fire in her soul and grace in her heart. I think that's a good one. Okay, so I think I'm going to take this little paintbrush and have one of my little fairy girls haul off with that paintbrush, and maybe another with the little paint palette. I think that will be good. I am just going to finger paint because that is my challenge. Oh, okay. So, and it is a challenge for me to finger paint because I am not a finger painter. I mean, I get messy. I'm just going to put some little gold daubs up in there. I think that's just what I'm going to have to do, is just add some gold finger painting into my little backgrounds. Now I've got the Midas touch. All right, so this lovely little one is going to have the paintbrush. And I think this little one will have the paint palette. We're going to shine down here in the valley. And we're going to have a little fire. Yeah, I'm going to put the fire in her soul down right on over here. And I have my pages to attach to my journal here. What I do want to do, though, is I'm going to clip some edges. I'm going to corner around the outside. Here's my corner rounder, and I'm going to go ahead and use the 10 millimeter one there, because that's about the size that the outside of the composition book is. And I'll do the same thing here. And that's kind of hard because I've got that heart there. Should have done that before I added. But I can get it. You can fight it in there. All right. And so I added the gold finger painting on the inside. I wanted to go ahead and make this more of a stationary look on this side. So I'm going to come in with my black soot and just hit the edge along this back side here, around the outside here. And that will give me that foundation on the outside. All right. I will do the same on the other. But let's go ahead and get this part laid down. And so that'll lay right in my book like so. all around the edge first, and then just across that center. We'll come up, know about where I want it on the outside. Line it up on the inside. So I'm going to come in with that black soot on the outside edge of this page now. Just to give it a nice foundation. Alright, I'm going to come back in with my art glitter glue. All around those outside edges. I'm going to line it up towards the center so it matches up with the one I laid down already. And then I'm just going to press it down onto the page of this journal. I'm going to use this nice big wooden bone folder here. This gives a nice good, I use this with my transfers and all sorts of things. Okay. Alright, so I went ahead and gathered my little clickable stamps here, and I just spelled out I believe, and this will be the last thing I go ahead and add on to here. So I'm just going to ink it up. And before I stamp it on my book, I will stamp it on a piece of scrap so that I know, yeah, that's good. So, and now I'm just going to come in and stamp I believe, and there we have my little spread for the Roll and Create. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this process of creating a little fantasy spread with our Roll and Create. Remember, our background was a watercolor wash was our challenge. We had to use a character and stickers and ephemera, and the challenge item was finger painting. So my main element and my supplies and finger paint. So I think it turned out really cute. It's very, very easy. I'll probably come back in and add some Mod Podge over these just to give them a little more stiffness so that they don't curl up too much in my book. But I think that this little fun, little unique page turned out adorable. Don't forget to check out the playlist below and Sunflower Tasha, my sweet friend Tasha, who hosts this collaboration. It gets your juices flowing when you are feeling like you have no mojo. This helps to stimulate and get your imagination rolling. So guys, as always, anything I can find, I will link in my description box below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and as always, stay safe, God bless, bye for now.